Daniel 2, verse 1 to 16, presents a powerful moment where the wisdom of men collapses under pressure, but the wisdom that comes from God stands firm. The chapter moves beyond a simple story about a king's troubling dream and reveals the inability of earthly systems to produce certainty, peace, or true understanding apart from divine revelation. King Nebuchadnezzar is deeply troubled by a dream he cannot remember or interpret. His anxiety reflects the instability of earthly kingdoms. Though Babylon appeared strong outwardly, its ruler was inwardly shaken. The greatest empire of the age could not give its king rest. Wealth, power, armies, and intellectual elites were powerless to calm the fear produced by an unknown future. The king demanded that the magicians, astrologers, sorcerers, and Chaldeans both reveal the dream and interpret it. This request exposed the limits of human religion and philosophy. The wise men protested that no king had ever asked such a thing and admitted that only the gods could reveal it. And even then, they claimed the gods did not dwell with men. Their confession unintentionally pointed to humanity's separation from divine life and truth. This becomes a contrast between earthly wisdom and heavenly revelation. Babylon represents the systems of man: political power, religious ritual, intellectual pride, and self-derived righteousness. Yet none of these could uncover truth. Human effort cannot ascend into divine understanding. Revelation must come from God himself. Daniel stands in sharp contrast to the wise men of Babylon. Though living in exile, he possessed peace where the empire possessed fear. Daniel did not rely upon mystical arts, secret formulas, or religious performance. His confidence rested in the God who reveals mysteries. This anticipates the reality that true understanding comes by divine unveiling rather than human striving. When Nebuchadnezzar ordered the execution of all the wise men, judgment fell indiscriminately upon the entire system of Babylonian wisdom. Daniel and his companions were included in the sentence despite their faithfulness. This reflects how humanity under the old order stood collectively under condemnation. The inability of the wise men to satisfy the king mirrors the inability of the law and human effort to produce lasting righteousness or life. Daniel's response is notable. He answered with wisdom and discretion rather than panic. Fear dominated the king and his counselors, but Daniel rested in confidence because he knew God was sovereign over mysteries. Faith operates from rest, not anxiety. Instead of trying to produce an answer from himself, Daniel sought time because he trusted revelation would come from God. The chapter also demonstrates that God reveals hidden things according to grace, not human merit. Daniel was not chosen because Babylon deemed him superior, nor because he earned divine favor through religious achievement. God disclosed the mystery because he delights to make himself known. Revelation is a gift. From a covenantal perspective, the dream itself points toward the rise and fall of earthly kingdoms, culminating in God establishing an everlasting kingdom. The empires of men were temporary and destined to crumble. Babylon appeared invincible in Daniel's day, yet the dream would reveal its eventual downfall. This theme reaches its fulfillment in the transition from the Old Covenant world to the everlasting reign of Christ. The collapsing statue later revealed in the chapter symbolizes the instability of all earthly dominion. The stone cut without hands points to a kingdom not produced by human effort. Unlike Babylon, Persia, Greece, or Rome, God's kingdom would not depend upon military conquest or political structures. It would be established by divine action. Viewed through the lens of covenant fulfillment, the destruction of the old order culminated in the judgment associated with the end of the age of the temple-centered system. The passing away of the old covenant world demonstrated that the kingdoms and structures of men could never produce lasting righteousness. Christ established an unshakable kingdom that does not rise and fall like earthly empires. Daniel 2, 1-16 therefore reveals several major truths. Human wisdom cannot uncover divine truth apart from revelation. Earthly power cannot give peace to the human heart. God alone reveals mysteries. Faith rests while fear strives. The kingdoms of men are temporary, but God's kingdom endures forever. Divine revelation is given by grace, not earned through human effort. God's eternal kingdom surpasses and replaces the fading systems of the old world. The passage ultimately directs attention away from confidence in human systems and toward complete dependence upon God, who freely reveals truth and establishes an everlasting kingdom that cannot be shaken.